Hello and welcome to this section. The main content of this lesson is to explain the editor interface. Let's open our editor interface directly. First, let's type in the browser editor.hekoda.com. After returning to such an editor's address, we can enter a development interface of one of our editors. Such an address is also an address that we can directly enter into our editing, so we can save a bookmark. In this way, when you click this address, you can come directly to our editing scene. Here, we directly select the default web app, a development environment for applets, and in the default relative positioning, we write its name here, which is called the editor interface. When we click the Create button, we can enter the working interface of our editor. Now let's briefly introduce the working interface of HeCode, so that we can have a preliminary understanding of the interface window module of the tool. The first point is our navigation bar. The top side of our editor is our navigation bar. Let's introduce you from left to right. First of all, our document center. If you have any questions during the use, you can click the document button to jump to our document center. There is a very detailed description in the document center in the HeCode widget and various instructions. Then there is our demo center. All the demo in the demo center are free. It is an implementation of a specific feature point. If you want to see how it is used for a specific feature point, you can click it to have a simple preview. If you want to see how the demo is finally implemented in the editor, you can click a download button here and click download. It can automatically help you download it to one of your editors, and then you can see how its logic is implemented. Next is our course center. When we click the course button, we can come to our HeCode College. Here you can select a course you want to view for a study, and then to the right is our solution. For different scenarios, it will have different series of solutions. You can select a scenario you need to view. It's a series of one solution. Further to the right is our market. The market includes 3 modules. It is our template diagnosis platform and outsourcing transaction platform. In our template center, there are various templates uploaded by us or users. You can have a simple preview here, or even buy and download such a template. It is worth noting that the pricing of this template is carried out by our customers. Therefore, when you want to download this template, you need to pay a fee for it. Of course, if you have finished making a case, you also want to submit such a template for everyone to purchase. You can click the Submit Template here to submit your template. After your template passes the review, you can display it in the template center. The next step is our diagnosis platform. There are many great gods of the platform in our diagnosis platform. You can directly give him a simple consultation here. If you encounter any problems in the process of using the editor, or in a certain scene, you can directly come to our diagnosis platform for consultation. Of course, our customer also acts as an expert on the diagnosis platform here, so he may charge some fees. You can negotiate a series of fees with him here. Of course, there will be a free clinic. If the application of your editor is lower than a certain complexity point, you can ask him to help you with a free check. In addition, if an official is online, he will write an official word here. If he is a user of the platform, there will be a specially invited word here. Next, there is our outsourcing trading platform. On our outsourcing trading platform, you can issue a project and receive an order here. On the platform, we mainly deal with a project within 50,000 yuan, and you can submit a direct one. You can issue an order here, that is, put forward your needs, then we will conduct a unified bidding, and finally if someone accepts the bid, you will contact him again, and then complete a production of your whole project. Of course, if you are a developer of a platform, you can also receive orders here, complete a series of other people's needs here, and then get his commission. Next, we'll give a hint about the education version. For HeCode, it helps efficient computer education. Therefore, whether you are a teacher or a student, you can enjoy our free subsidy. For your account without any business behavior and profit-making behavior, you can make a simple statement here. Then, when you click Apply, you can select one of your types, such as individual application, or a cooperation authorization mode of colleges and universities. After you complete the application, you will get an education account with a lot of resources for a subsidy. Therefore, for our college students and teachers, as long as your account has no business purpose and no business behavior, the whole use of our editor is completely free. Next, there is our price section. In the price section, you can view a series of differences between our personal account and enterprise account, including a series of contents such as our ID usage fee, cloud service fee, resource package traffic, and diagnostic service. You can make a series of purchases here according to your needs. Let's go back to the blank case we just created and continue with an introduction to one of the editor's interfaces. The stage can be compared with the canvas in mainstream image processing software such as Photoshop. It defines an editing area of a project. All editing and creation are completely visualized in this area. On the left side of our editor is our widget. A series of small icons are arranged in the toolbar. Each small icon is a widget, and each widget has its own characteristics. For example, for media widget, for page clapping, or for data processing, widget is the most core element in HiCode. All interactive animation data needs to be based on widget, and we can achieve a very rich series of functions through the arrangement and combination of widget. So we need to understand the detailed usage of each widget. Some of the material types it supports are the basis for us to use HiCode. When we use any widget, if you don't understand the use of it, you can first check the three elements of widget, including its property, action, and event, and you can click View Details to come to the Document Center to see the best practices and the most commonly used series of basic usage of this widget. For widget, we will give you a little more detailed explanation in the next section. First of all, we need to know that the widget column has the following series of features. First, the widget column is divided into various areas according to the feature area, including the best system widget, then our media widget, then our data widget, and our series of communication widget. By default, the two modes of simplification and integrity are available as full mode. If you click a collection menu here, it will become a simplified mode, so if you find that your widget has become such a mode, don't be surprised. It may be that you accidentally click such a button for simplified and complete mode switching. Of course, if you find that your widget does not display all widget in your widget bar, it does not matter. You can put the mouse in the toolbar area of our widget, and then use the scroll wheel to view it. What we should pay attention to here is that if we choose a different series of types, the types of widget in this page are different. For example, here I will create a new widget of small program type for you. We can see that after I choose the page in the small program type, we can find that the widget under the small program is very special, very few, but it also has a series of widgets specific to our applet. If we choose the widget of another development environment by default, we can find that there will be a lot more widget here. So here we must understand that for the different development environment of our application type selection, even the different environment of our typesetting ring, and the different parent widget where it is located, our system will automatically load the matching widget. So if you find a different content in a widget in a different area, or you cannot find such a content, you must pay attention to whether we choose the right subcontainer and its environment. For our widget is also divided into frontend and backend. At present, because I selected frontend, it is said that it is some widget of frontend. If I choose backend, it is a series of backend widget, which is also the most basic way to separate the front and back platform. On the right side of our workspace is the number of our objects. The number of objects is an important window for our object management. Each widget added in the current development environment will be recorded by the number of objects. The tree structure will be used for visual display. The number of our objects is also divided into frontend and backend. The frontend is what we show in the application. We open after the application, all the contents that can be seen actually belong to our frontend. We can quickly select an object, adjust the hierarchical relationship between objects, copy or paste an object, rename or search the object, or add animation interaction for the object by a series of operations in the number of objects. These operations will be explained in detail in the subsequent courses. For our backend, it is mainly a series of data storage. We will add a variety of services and databases in the backend. Through the service, we can make the front-end and the back-end database carry out an interactive operation. Here we demonstrate a very simple function for the big family. For example, when I select the front-end, I want to add a text, then first I select front-end in the number of objects to ensure that a cursor in the front-end is in a selected state. Then I click such a text widget on the left, and we can find that first such a text appears in our stage, and then such a text widget under our front-end also has a record, which is actually a very typical process in which the widget we added is recorded by the number of objects. Next, we select the text widget we just added, and then we can see a series of property of the text on the left, and this is our property panel. For different widget, it has a lot of property, and the property of each widget is completely different. We can modify a value of one of our components by setting the property. For example, here we change the content into a text. When I click the blank space in the widget column to teach, we will find that he has changed such a content into a text, and then we can see that the content of such a text has also changed in our stage. In addition, I can set a lot of other properties for such a text to modify its style. For example, I can modify a background color, a font size, or a text color, etc. here. Located on the upper side of our editor, the area is our menu bar. The menu bar can perform a series of global operations. It is mainly divided into the left area, the middle area, the area, and our right area. First of all, we will give a simple explanation of the content in the left area. First of all, it is a file menu. In the file menu, we can easily create an application and a main application. Secondly, you can also open a series of recently opened applications in this way. In addition, saving is also a very important habit in our high-code developing. You can click a Save button directly here to save the application, or you can click a shortcut key such as Ctrl+S to save. Then if you need to save a copy of such an application, you can also click the Save button to save it as a brand new application. Then you can save the account database to the application database. This account database related content we will explain for you in the following courses, and then you can click Delete the current application to delete it. At present, the application you delete will be directly in the recycle bin for us to check. In addition, you can switch between different saved versions through historical versions. You can click here to browse all versions to manage your versions. When you read it, a preview version will appear, and then the version you manually save will also be reserved for you here for 100 versions. Then our editor will automatically save one for you every 5 minutes, and then you can select any version, click to load this version, and it will load an effect of an editor at this time. You see, when I first saved, our editor didn't have any content, so it restored to my original effect. If I want to switch back, I can choose our history version again, and then choose the version I manually saved. You can see that the new text widget I just added appears again. Then the second button in the left area is our Save button, which is also convenient for us to quickly save. Of course, I think the most convenient one is to click Count and S to complete a save, and then go back to the Backend Resource. The so-called Backend Resource is a series of resources that you save on our server when you select Backend Source. It includes our database, microservice, full-text search database, user database, e-commerce database, voting database, routing table, connection live broadcast, etc., a series of backend content. And the series of backend databases you add are actually a database of our backend type you choose here, and the added resources are convenient for you add one to the other application. Well, at present, we haven't talked about the relevant content of the backend database. You only need to know that one of its added entries is here. Then there is a series of front-end resources. The front-end resources include our picture resources, video resources, audio resources, dynamic resources, and our connection resources. Here is where you can add a series of pictures. For example, you need to carry out a quick development. Such pictures, audio, and video have very high dynamic efficiency. You can do it here and add. When you want to use such a resource next time, you can click it, and it can be directly added to one of our editors for use. Then we have a central area, which is mainly used for a preview configuration of the application, and one of our build. First of all, let's tell you about our most common preview function. When we click the preview button, we can click OK to find that the browser automatically opens a new window for us and displays a content here. Is the content exactly the same as what we display on the stage? Then, you can click the right button and click to check, or you directly click the shortcut key F12 is the same. Here you can open a debugging window. If you are developing a mobile phone application, you can also click a switch button here to switch it to the size of a mobile phone, and here you can switch the size of your mobile phone to see a basic effect. Similarly, if you want to scan the code to see the effect of an application, you can click a QR code preview effect here. When you click, you can scan the code through WeChat, or scan the code in various mobile browsers to have a preview, and then you can also view an effect you edit in your mobile phone. This is the most powerful point of what we see and what we get, that is, you can edit a series of application here, and have a preview view directly. Then in addition, in our front end, we add a widget of a page, we put such a picture on our page, and then we add another page, and put a text in it. It can be found that if I click a preview directly now, what we can see is such a picture. Why? Because our default page 1 is located in the number of our objects, which is even worse. So when we have a preview, he will see the page below us first. If I want to directly view the content of page 2, how can we view it? Note that the preview here has a button for previewing the current page. Click the button for previewing the current page like a button, it will automatically view a content of our current page. So in this way, we can view a content of different pages. Note that only when we go to the selected page, we will have the function of previewing the current page. If we select front end, you can see that it does not have a button like preview the current page, which is worth noting. Then there is a series of contents developed by many people. We will give you a separate explanation in the subsequent courses. Then there is our configuration window. For our configuration window, it is a case of what type you want to publish. You need to make any configuration here. For example, if you need a custom domain name in the domain name configuration here, you need to fill in your custom domain name here. If you don't know how to configure it, you can click on a content in a document center here. There will be hand-in-hand interaction here. How do you configure a custom domain name? Then there is an interface configuration down here. The interface configuration is that if you want to publish to different application, you need to fill in the configuration of different application. For example, if you want to develop an application of WeChat official account class, you need to directly fill in a series of WeChat official account configurations here, and set whether it needs to carry out authorization, whether it needs to be initialized, a series of operations to obtain a nickname image, or you need to fill in a custom authorized domain name. If you need to develop a WeChat applet or game, you need to fill in an app ID and app secret of the WeChat applet and game here. Of course, if you want to develop the WeChat open platform or WeChat app application, you also need to fill in the corresponding configuration information. If you want to involve a payment feature, you need to fill in a series of functions of your WeChat merchant number here. Similarly, if your application is to be opened in QQ, you need to fill in this series of configuration in QQ. If you want to open it in Alipay Nails, you need to fill in the relevant configurations of Alipay Nails, including if you want to make byte-beating classes, including our headlines, or some small programs of dithering, you need to fill in a series of configurations of our own beating. Of course, if you want to use our Android or HeCode Windows, Mac Live Broadcast, IoT Email Map Push, and other interfaces, you need to make a simple configuration here. When you make a simple configuration here, you can directly click Save Configuration, or check the interface to add to the pre-stored configuration when saving, so that when you save, you will directly fill in a series of configurations for you next time. Next time you just click here to set it as the current configuration, or set it as the default configuration. It is also very convenient to directly go to the application configuration when it is opened. Then there is an interface with customized configuration. This interface is used with our module. We will also explain the module in a separate chapter. Then when you have completed a series of configuration, you can click a build button here to complete a series of application build. What kind of application do you need to build? You can click the corresponding type here, and then it can carry out an automatic build for you. This is our weekly test content. Then down is a content of one of our write areas. The content of the write area is our fallback and forward application. For example, here I accidentally deleted our picture. What should I do? I can click a back button here, which will undo our previous operation. Similarly, you can click the keyboard to control Z can also have such a fallback event, and then there are a series of alignments on the same side. When we talk about our absolute positioning environment, we will teach you how to use a usage of our alignment. Then down here is the size of our simulation stage. By default, we help you to simulate the size of a mobile phone. If you want to switch different mobile phones as a size of your stage, even if you may develop a computer type application, you can switch here to ensure the size of the stage, and you want to open it the size of the hair application is exactly the same. In addition, you can click here to hide a content of one of our standard lines. If you want to view a detail, you can click a plus sign here, which will enlarge your entire canvas. However, when you zoom into a certain area, you will find that an element you want to view seems to be invisible. What should you do? At this time, you can click the space. You can find that when you click the space, your mouse on the stage becomes a small hand icon. You only need to long press the left mouse button to drag. This operation is actually completely consistent with our operation in PS. You can drag it by clicking the space. Then, of course, if you want to see a global effect, you can also zoom it, and then move it with a space. Here is an interface for us to zoom the size of the whole stage. And then down is a series of content of our object search. For example, here I search a WeChat, and it can be found that it automatically helps us search a WeChat image and other widget. When I click it, it will automatically help me to make a selection. Similarly, to the right of us is one of our logic toolbars. In our logic toolbar, we can add event, customize event, action group functions, including our action group, tunable, service transaction, SQL statement, etc., which we can use again when we learn it. When we add some event to a picture, for example, I click event here, and an event window will pop up. Event is a very important series of content in our high code, because it determines a setting of the whole high code logic. We will explain it in a special chapter. The above is the whole content of this section. Thank you for watching.